Hey everyone, how's it going? Pure Ground is a very interesting type in Generation 1. There's only 3 Pure Ground lines. The Diglett line, which we fully completed, the Sandshrew line, which I want to get to somewhat soon, and today, Cubone's line starting with Cubone. In our last video, having to beat Brock with Raichu was an absolute nightmare. But Cubone at least has one move that should be pretty good, Bone Club. It misses more than I'd like, and base 65 power is nothing to write home about, but we will beat Brock a heck of a lot faster than we did. In terms of its TM moves, it gets an eclectic combination of moves, seemingly without any rhyme or reason. It can learn water, fire, and ice moves, but not electric moves. I'm not exactly sure why, and if you say, well, Cubone's immune to electric, sure, but it's weak to water and ice. Honestly, I don't really get it, but at least we have some variety. In terms of its stats, for a first form Pokemon, it's not great, to be honest with you. Cubone has exceptional defense, but of all the stats, it's actually by far the most useless one to be exceptional in. Literally, HP is better, because then you tank both physical and special attacks. Physical attacks are usually less of a threat in Generation 1, so the fact that our special is bad, we're slow, it may be a pretty big problem going forward. But first, a huge thank you to Zen Market for once again sponsoring one of my videos. This has happened to me so many times where I'm looking for something Pokemon related that was exclusive to Japan, and eBay and all the other North American websites simply don't have it available. If you happen to have a friend in Japan, maybe that would work for you, but for the rest of us, Zen Market is the perfect solution. Using Zen Market is simple, and I'm going to show you how to use it right now. I'm having trouble finding the Japanese bonus disc that came with Pokemon Colosseum, but that's no problem. I go to Zen Market's website, and I'm going to put Pokemon Colosseum in. And right away, you can see I can search Zen Plus, Mercari, Yahoo Auctions, and I've already gotten a couple results. Zen Market lets me search through Japanese storefronts like Amazon Japan, Rakuten, Yahoo Shopping and Auctions, Mercari, and Zen Plus, which has no fees, which is pretty great. But what if it's not available on any of those websites, like this obscure Pokemon educational game? I can only find it on Suragaya. That's okay. I can just copy the URL, paste it into Zen Market, and then I can purchase it from Zen Market and have it shipped to me in North America. Zen Market is available in 19 languages and provides great customer service, and it ensures that items are well packed and consolidated, so there's no consolidation fees. There's even a 60-day free storage period, so you can shop for all the items from all the various stores you want and have it shipped at once, which is super convenient. Over 2 million people have already used Zen Market, and there's so many different shipping and payment options you can choose from. But it gets even better. Signing up for Zen Market is free, and if you sign up now with the code JROSE11, you will get 1,000 free ZenPoints, which is equal to 1,000 yen. So the next time you're looking to buy something from Japan, check out Zen Market by clicking the link either in the description or pinned comment. Now, you might be surprised to learn that despite having a super effective move, I lost to Brock on my first attempt. That's because I only battled the mandatory bug catcher as well as Rival 1 and no one else, and since Cubone's in the medium fast group, that means it's only at level 6, and it's just simply not strong enough to overpower Brock's physically defensive Pokemon. So I did have to go back into Viridian Forest and level up a little bit more, and once I did, of course, we beat Brock pretty easily. That's not to say it wasn't close, and Brock actually could have easily won. Part of the issue is that Bone Club does miss 15% of the time, and that really does matter when you're at such a low level. The other issue is Bide. When Onix uses Bide, that pretty much took away my entire HP bar right there. But thankfully cooperated for the rest of the battle, and with 2 then 4 HP to spare after level up, we defeat Brock pretty easily. However, we're gonna have a bit of a problem when it comes to the next section. Misty is a water type trainer, and Rival 2 leads with a Pidgeotto, which Bone Club can't affect. Actually, we're pretty lucky that there isn't a single mandatory flying Pokemon from here until Mount Moon, where we get TM1 Mega Punch. In fact, in case you were curious, the first mandatory flying Pokemon is actually the Team Rocket member Zubat. And we're pretty fortunate that Cubone could learn Mega Punch at all, because otherwise we'd have to waste all our power points and use Struggle again, and that's pretty annoying if you remember correctly. It also would have made the Rival 2 fight absolutely brutal, not that it was very fun to begin with, at least with the Cubone. The primary issue is that Cubone isn't very fast, and Pidgeotto has Sand Attack. This is something that's happened in quite a few runs, but when we're relying on Mega Punch, a move with 85 accuracy, and Bone Club, a move with 85 accuracy, losing a couple of stages of accuracy to Sand Attack is just absolutely brutal. I mean, we came so close to knocking out Squirtle on our first attempt, but of course we just couldn't hit it enough, although we got pretty lucky all things considered. Luckily for me, on my very next attempt, we were actually able to win. Pidgeotto went for Gust. Sand Attack has a 1 in 4 chance of missing in this generation, at least when used by the opponent. So it missed me, and thus, with all our accuracy, we were able to hit every single time and knock out the Squirtle with a critical hit that probably did matter, but I was grateful that I didn't have to spend about 20 minutes on this battle, which, to be frank, I was kind of expecting. There's not much to say about routes 24 and 25. We are going to skip Misty for now and head straight to the SSN, and might as well talk about the Rival 3 battle, although it's frankly just an easier version of the Rival 2 battle. The reason for this is twofold. Cubone no longer has to use Bone Club or Mega Punch. It now gets 100 accurate and 100 base power, Dig, as well as 85 base power, but 100% accurate Body Slam. So that's pretty good. Unfortunately, that doesn't guarantee us a victory here. We still do get a miss because we are still slow, and so we did have to do this battle a couple more times. While I show the winning battle, it's important to mention, in case you're new or aren't aware, you can't battle Lieutenant Surge after beating Rival 3 unless you've beaten Misty. The reason for this is that in order to access Surge's gym, you either need Surf, which is impossible, or have the ability to use Cut outside of battle, which you only get by defeating Misty. This is unfortunate because if we could battle Lieutenant Surge here, we would, and I would skip Misty for a while. But unfortunately, I'm going to end up having to skip Surge until after I get to Celadon, despite the fact Surge is pretty easy, and we're going to have to try our hand at Misty. My first battle with Misty, I'm at level 26, and Staryu outspeeds. Dig does one-shot, and I had an idea for Starmie. It's gonna outspeed us, but if I go for Body Slam and Paralyze, which I don't, we lost. But the thought is, if we could have paralyzed, Dig may have been able to knock it out. And while the strategy would work, I realized it was objectively below my completely arbitrary 20% rule, where if I have a 20% chance of victory each time I do the battle, then it's consistent enough for me to say, okay, this is the strat going forward. Body Slam has a 30% chance to paralyze, and Starmie in that battle went for Water Gun. Had it gone for Bubble Beam, we would not have been able to even use Dig. So I decided to go back to Route 11 and level up Cubone. This might seem like a giant time loss, but remember, when it comes to first form Pokemon, having to spend time grinding experience is quite normal. So Cubone's actually still doing quite well. And after we're done, look at that, we outspeed Staryu. That doesn't mean we win automatically, however. Starmie actually kinda cooperates by going for X-Defend, giving me 2 opportunities to paralyze it, but unfortunately, it just doesn't happen and it knocks me out. On the very next attempt, however, everything works out the way I wanted to. Dig knocks out Staryu, Body Slam paralyzes Starmie, and Dig finishes the job. I believe even if Misty had gone for an X-Defend, we probably still would have won. So at only level 29, Cubone is doing quite well. Now, we know Cubone would absolutely demolish Lieutenant Surge, but it would actually waste time to go back to Vermilion just to head back to Cerulean in order to get to Rock Tunnel. Since we have Dig and Body Slam, nothing terribly interesting happens to us in Rock Tunnel, so we can skip all the way ahead to Celadon and go and battle Giovanni number 1, who also isn't actually all that interesting. He leads with Onyx, and I went for Bone Club, which is probably really dumb. I was trying to save a turn. In the end, I get not a 1-hit KO, then a miss, and so yeah, I wasted time. So against Rhyhorn, I just go for Dig, which was smart. And then against Kangaskhan, we get maybe a little lucky. It went for Guard Spec, although our defense is pretty good. We probably would have survived. And then Dig doesn't one-shot, but we got a critical hit, which is nice. Then we got Rage, which was nice. We got a little lucky in this battle, but the truth is I actually meant to use a super potion and heal, so we should have had more HP, so whatever. First try victory, it's fine. Now we're just about ready to finally battle Lieutenant Surge. I go do my shopping, get the HM for Fly, which I can't use yet because we haven't actually beat Lieutenant Surge, and walk down to Vermilion to go and battle him. This is going to be very easy. I go for Bone Club because, again, 1 versus 2 turns does make a difference, although there is luck involved. Of course, we do get 1 miss, but overall, that's still 4 turns versus 6, so it was worthwhile. And we get the TM that I wish we could use, but we can't. Thunderbolts. And we're ready not to battle Erica, that would be a big problem, but to battle Rival 4. Now, Rival 4, I predict, might be the last rival battle that's easy. Pidgeotto is 2-shot by Body Slam. Growlithe, we can use Bone Club, 1-hit KO. Execute, we can go Body Slam, 2-hit KO. Barrage was better than a status move. Kadabra, I went for Body Slam, it one-shots. And then Wartortle, I went for Dig and outsped. Still doesn't one-shot though, pretty bulky. But you can see here how once this is a Pidgeot, a Blastoise, things are going to be rather difficult. I also went back and forth whether the rival should have a Blastoise or a Venusaur. And which makes the rival better is sort of depending how you look at it. See, Venusaur, the rival, gets a Gyarados who will probably be really tough. But Venusaur itself is pretty easy because it's not as bulky as Blastoise, and it gets stuck with Mega Drain in the last battle, which is terrible. Blastoise, on the other hand, is extremely bulky and hard to knock out, a genuine threat for the final battle, and since it's the starter that's supposed to be the best version, I went with Blastoise versus Venusaur, but an argument could be made that Venusaur may have made the rival tougher. We'll see how the final battle goes. Just something to keep in mind. Alrighty, so that takes us to the second half of the game, and we're going to skip Erica for now, but not unintentionally. I don't want to battle her. We're going to battle Koga first. Against Koga, I now have Bone Meringue, which is a 2-turn attack as well, but kind of like Twin Needle, both happen in the same turn, so it's quicker than Dig. However, against Weezing, may have cost me the one-shot, but I'm so bulky, Self-Destruct didn't knock me out. So a pretty strong Koga battle. I wasn't entirely surprised by that. I was disappointed I didn't get the one-shot, but Weezing is quite bulky defensively. And now the game is going to get pretty tough. My options are battle Erica, the Grass-type trainer, or rival Fivel with a Blastoise and Alakazam, and Pidgeot. Like always, I battle rival Fivel right away just to see what's going to happen. And Pidgeot turns out to be a 3-shot, which isn't great because it could have gone for Sand Attack. Bone Meringue misses, which is annoying. And then against Execute, I go for Body Slam. It goes for Leech Seed. Then it goes for Stun Spore. Then I get Paralyzed, but knock it out with 86. But then Alakazam goes for Confusion. Bone Meringue knocks it out, but Blastoise with just Bubble. Actually, if I didn't get Paralyzed, I actually could have won. And so I did battle rival Fivel again, and as it turns out, not getting paralyzed is easier said than done. The reason for this is that Stun Spore is classified as a grass move, and since Cubone is a ground Pokemon, Execute is incentivized to go for it and Leech Seed. And once it's already used Leech Seed once, it's only going to go for Stun Spore. So we need to knock it out in 2 hits, but we still probably could have won with a little bit of better luck, although we got a Gen 1 miss versus Alakazam. Against Blastoise, it went for Withdraw, and if we did get a critical hit, we may have been able to win, but we don't. And this is the point where I realized, did we really want to win? Weird question, but the truth of the matter is, a lot of these trainers in Silph Company, they're not going to go away after I beat Rival Fivel, but they will go away after I beat Giovanni number 2. And the truth is, we're probably going to need to level up quite a bit more, not just for the remaining gym leaders, but thinking way ahead to the Elite Four, and these are relatively easy battles. So rather than battling Rival Fievel as soon as I can and beating Giovanni and moving on, I'm going to battle these trainers while they're still here. In a game like Fire Red and Leaf Green, where you can just rebattle any trainer you want, or at least ones in the overworld, you don't have to think about stuff like this. But in games that don't have a Versus Seeker type item, you do have to consider the best and fastest sources of experience points, and the trainers here in Silph Company have fully evolved Pokemon at low levels that are easy to knock out and give you a ton of experience points for the time investment. So I spent that time and leveled up quite a bit. When I return, I'm at level 47, which doesn't seem like that much higher, but considering how high a level I'm at, you can't level up that much. Also notice I went to get Earthquake. It is more powerful than Bone Meringue, and is the first quick one-turn move we've had since Bone Club. Good thing happens in this battle is that Execute misses Stun Spore, which actually I'm surprised hasn't happened yet, and thus we're able to outspeed Blastoise, and 3 Earthquakes with Leech Seed are going to be able to knock it out. Blastoise has a bit of a problem where it doesn't get Surf. I'm sure I've mentioned this before, but something you may not know about Generation 1 is that pretty much every single trainer Pokemon in this game, its moveset is simply the last 4 moves it learns via level up. There's no additional coding or strategy. So if you think about it, they're really just wild Pokemon you can't catch that give you more experience points. Now there are some exceptions to this. The gym leader's final Pokemon will always know the TM move they give out, and Bruno's Machamp was given Fissure for some reason. And of course, everybody knows about Lance's illegal barrier Dragonite. And then there's Pidgeot as well as the starter, which gets a TM move, Sky Attack, as well as Blizzard for Blastoise. So there's a few of them, but by and large, every single other trainer Pokemon just has the moves they learn via level up, which is why when Execute evolves into Executor, even though there's no way in Generation 1 to forget moves and thus have less moves than you did at a previous level, Executor only has 3 moves because it only learns 3 moves via level up. It wasn't until Yellow version where the gym leaders and Elite Four's movesets were more closely looked at and customized, which is why if we were to redo this tier list in Yellow version, I have a feeling that things would be pretty different, although Agatha would be a lot easier, so who knows even. Anywho, I talked so much that I got through the second Giovanni battle, and now we have a few options. We could battle Erica, we could battle Sabrina, or we could surf and battle the fire trainer, Blaine. You might be surprised that I chose to battle Sabrina, mostly because I was already in Saffron. Kadabra outspeeds and crits, which is bad, but we do one-shot. Mr. Mime can go for any of its moves, but of course it went for Confusion, which puts me at 10 HP, so it's looking quite bad. Venomoth has to go for Stun Spore because it's classified as a grass move and I'm a ground type, and we almost knock it out, but then it goes for Psybeam. I could come back later, but I have a feeling we got a little unlucky. So in our next battle, Kadabra goes for Recover, then Mr. Mime goes for Double Slap, then Venomoth goes for Stun Spore, it hits, still no one-shot, and we still get paralyzed, but we knock it out with Body Slam. And then Alakazam goes for Reflect, and quite luckily, we get a critical hit. I'm fairly certain with Alakazam's terrible defense, Earthquake would have one-shot, but frankly, I'm happy enough with this victory, I'm not going to retry. I used to do that a lot more, but the truth of the matter is, the Elite Four is such an effective final gatekeeper that even if I am getting really lucky throughout the gym leaders, the Elite Four will quickly inform me that I need to be at a higher level, and so the tier list should be unaffected largely. Also, this is really just for entertainment purposes. No one's really going to use this tier list competitively. We're not going to have the Pokemon Ultimate Championships. Anyway, now I think it's time to battle Erica. We should outspeed her Pokemon that are almost half our level. We outspeed in one-shot Victory Bell. For Tangela, we actually don't one-shot it, and thus it goes for Bind, which is annoying. However, because we paralyzed it, it then stops going for Bind, which is pretty good. And Vileplume isn't very fast. We'll knock it out with an Earthquake. And now we have 6 badges, just Blaine and Giovanni remaining. And Blaine shouldn't be too much of an issue because, you know, we're a ground Pokemon. I should mention that I use Blaine's gym as a great place to get some more experience points. Every single Pokemon here is a one-shot, and Pokemon like Ponyta give a ton of experience points. So this is a great place just to get some one-time free experience. I think we're going to need it. Not for Blaine. Blaine's going to be pretty easy. We're at level 53. We even outspeed Growlithe and Ponyta, which is nice. We don't outspeed Rapidash, and Fire Spin's quite scary, especially with the crit. And then it crits with Stomp, so we only have 73 HP, but our good buddy Blaine uses the full HP Super Potion. Amazing. So we do knock out Arcanine. Had it gone for Fire Blast, we would have lost, and that would have sucked because I was talking some mad smack against Blaine, and it's like he heard me. But in the end, I'm just too darn good. Or lucky. Or both. Anyway, now we don't have a choice. There's only one gym leader left to face, and it's Giovanni. Most of his Pokemon are weak to ground moves anyway, so essentially it's another super effective gym. He leads with Rhyhorn. It does have good defense, but I have Earthquake. Dugtrio is going to outspeed, and Sand Attack is annoying. We could miss now. We don't miss against Nidoqueen. We level up. We probably also outsped it due to that Sand Attack. And Rhydon's going to be a 2-shot. And with 1 power point remaining, we knock it out. We didn't have to resort to Dig, which would have wasted a lot of time, especially if we started missing. So a nice, quick, easy battle versus Giovanni. And we're in the end game now. Rival 6, Elite 4, Rival 7. I don't think I've ever called him that, the champ. This is going to be tough. Rival 6 shouldn't be so bad because we're so high leveled. The rest of the trainers, I'm not so sure yet, but let's take this one step at a time. Rival 6 leads with Pidgeot. I'm at level 55, and I still don't really have my final moveset yet. I'm just seeing if we could win with Leer, which I haven't used. We knock out Pidgeot in 3 hits, which is good, and then we one-shot Rhyhorn. I'm convinced in some of these videos I've called it Rhydon before. I do that a lot. Anyway, we one-shot Growlithe, which is nice. We level up, execute, Body Slam, stuns 4 misses, Body Slam, it's paralyzed. We're not going to get better luck than this, so we need to win or we need to level up. Psybeam, like I said, we need to win here. This is the luckiest we're going to get, and Hydro Pump misses. That was the luckiest battle I've ever seen, and we didn't win. So what we're going to do is we're going to level up in the Fighting Dojo and then use all our rare candies. This is a little risky because if we need to level up a lot more, then there definitely is some experience points inefficiency, but Rival 6 does look to be quite difficult with Hydro Pump Blastoise, so I do think leveling up here makes the most sense. I actually don't think I explained that well, but let's battle Rival 6 first. I have Blizzard, and it actually one-shots Pidgeot, which is pretty incredible. I then one-shot Rhyhorn and Growlithe, and then execute. Blizzard misses, but one-shots. Holy mackerel. Thank goodness it learns Blizzard. Alakazam is really annoying by going for Reflect and then gets a critical hit. So we're going to lose. And I guess this is oh, are we going to lose? No, we're not going to lose. Haha, take that game. That was really lucky. Well, it was unlucky then lucky. But what I should have said before in terms of why I went to the Fighting Dojo, and you can see I checked my Cubone's experience points. I want to use rare candies right after I level up to maximize experience points efficiency. And if you're wondering why the game is paused here, I'm looking ahead to Lance's Gyarados. I want to know how much speed it has to see whether my leveling up was a little too early or whether I do outspeed it, which is going to be important. And the answer, turns out, is yes. I already outspeed the Gyarados before battling anything else. At this point in time, that's what I thought would be the ultimate test. I could not have been more wrong. In order to get to Lance, we need to beat Lorelei. And while Lorelei doesn't have the greatest moves on her Pokemon, Aurora Beam still does over half of my HP, and Cloyster is one of the defensively bulkiest Pokemon in the entire game. It also knows Clamp and Aurora Beam. Surf and Ice Beam would be better, but it's more than good enough to knock out a level 66 Cubone. Additionally, There's nothing else that these Pokemon are going to do other than heal with the Super Potion, which doesn't even really help me other than I get to Slowbro and then it knocks me out with Water Gun. This whole run, all I could think about is how difficult Lance was going to be. And making it to him now seems like a Herculean task. I'm already at level 66. There are 5 Pokemon that already have beaten the game by this level or before. I'm not even able to make it past Lorelei's 3rd Pokemon. This is looking like a bit of a yikes moment. Now, I have started streaming these runs on my Twitch, which is just JRose11, and chat suggested I use Submission. I got a crit on Dugong, which will give you the false impression that this would work. It will not. The simple fact is, Submission is just a base 80 power move. With the stab bonus, Earthquake is 150 base power. Submission with a super effective non-stab is 160. It's a boost, but not much. And as you saw, it has a chance to miss, as well as dealing recoil damage. So I try Earthquake again in desperation, and of course, I get the same result as I have the last few times. This is not uncommon for first form Pokemon, but we're gonna have to go back into Victory Road and level up. These runs are not speed runs. I'm very clear about that. In a speedrun, you would map this out. You would know which trainers you want to battle, which level you want to be. Everything would be planned ahead of time. Scott's Thoughts does run several times for that reason, but that's not the way we do things here. It's not fun for me to do that. I like to try, see if I can win, and then adjust my strategy. One of the reasons I'm able to do all these runs over and over is that the game still manages to surprise me in weird ways. I probably should have seen Lorelei being a bigger obstacle, but I simply thought Earthquake was so powerful, we would just one-shot Dugong, which we don't. We don't even come all that close to doing so. So we have to level up quite a bit more. And there are a lot of places we can do so, like Victory Road. After we beat all the trainers there, we're at level 70. And we still pretty much are in the same position. Or at least we would have been if I didn't go for Fissure. I don't think I've actually used Fissure in a run, but I figured why the heck not to get rid of Cloyster, it's so bulky. And Fissure is just straight up 30% accurate, very lucky move. But to use it just once against Cloyster at the beginning of the battle didn't seem like the worst idea. And without this attack drop, we may have even beaten the Jinx. So I'm feeling a little optimistic that we might be able to at least get to Lapras. In our last video, Sean was able to show how many losses we had versus each Elite Four member, and I apologize. Also, he did such a great job. But we had a lot of losses versus Lorelei. If he wants to count them, be my guest, but it's a lot. And finally, after all these losses, now using Mimic and Amnesia, we're gonna finally make some progress. Oh, goodness. Slowbro can go for Withdraw, which is a water move or Water Gun. We survive on 1 HP, knock out Jinx, and not knock out Lapras. Now, I didn't lie to you. Technically, this is progress. We made it one Pokemon further. But that's it. At level 70. Now, I probably should have leveled up more, but I really felt like I could win. And you know what? I was right. Earthquake, Aurora Beam, no attack drop. We need the 1 in 3, just under that, Fissure chance. We get it. Mimic Amnesia, Water Gun, 1 Amnesia, Withdraw, 2, 3 Amnesias, and then a Water Gun, so we're at 36. We then get another Water Gun, putting us to 20 HP. So we're not going to survive Hydro Pump or Blizzard. But what we can do, if we get a critical hit, is put Lapras into healing range, and because of the way they heal retroactively in this game, we can, in a very Gen 1 way, beat Lorelei. Now, once we beat Lorelei, is the rest of the game gonna be a joke? Bruno certainly will be. I mean, Bruno is always a joke. The only thing I'm a little worried about, we actually do outspeed the Hitmonchan, which is nice. And Blizzard, I just decide to go for it because why not? We even outspeed and one-shot Hitmonlee, which is pretty good. So I was correct that Bruno would be a total joke. And it's at this point we get to everyone's favorite part of the run, Agatha. We're not going to outspeed Agatha's Pokemon, but we are going to one-shot most of them. Unfortunately, her Gengar can just go for Hypnosis, then Dream Eater, and then Dream Eater, and then Nightshade, and just like that, my incredibly fluky Lorelei victory just led to an all-too predictable lucky loss versus Agatha. Now, relying on a fissure hit and a critical hit is absurdly unlikely, so I realized it was definitely time to level up quite a bit more. There are trainers all around Cinnabar, Fuchsia. There are some on the cycling road I haven't beaten. There's lots of places to get experience points, and there's even a rare candy I'm gonna go get in the power plant. I'm not completely out of options for leveling up Cubone, but at this high a level, each time we need to leave and level up more, its ranking is slipping further and further down the tier list. However, after leveling up only 2 more times, something pretty incredible happens. You won't notice it versus Dugong, or even Cloyster, where we're still using Fissure. And that's still pretty lucky. But when it comes to after we knock out Slowbro, albeit critical hit assisted, and then Jinx, watch what happens versus Lapras. With the Amnesia boosts, which are boosting my attack, we now seem to maybe consistently knock out Lapras, but put it into healing range, and I do think there's a significant chance Lorelei will always go for the Super Potion, which allows me to knock it out the very next turn. If this is true, I do think we're roughly in the 20% victory range, and we may be able to start throwing attempts at Lance. Remember him? I haven't even gotten close to him yet. As I've been talking, I have been demolishing Bruno, so I'm 2 for 2 versus him. And so now it's time for a rematch versus Agatha. We're still not going to outspeed Gengar, but it went for Dream Eater. We knock it out. Blizzard also knocks out Golbat. I'm so happy this gets Blizzard. We do outspeed Haunter, which is really good, because the final Gengar, we also knock out Arbok in 1 hit, but the final Gengar doesn't know Hypnosis. The worst thing it could do was confuse me. It doesn't do it, and that's how Agatha battles can go sometimes. We get a first try victory at our current level. However, now we have to fight the Gyarados. And what I'm hoping will happen is a Hydro Pump miss, which is 20%, but I also have the most powerful move against Gyarados I can learn, Mega Kick. It has a 25% chance to miss, but it is 120 base power. Let's hope it's enough to 2-shot the Gyarados. So this is the moment of truth. We do hit, and it's just doing about half. Hydro Pump then hits, no crit, it basically almost knocks me out, but it doesn't. So everything is going about as well as you could hope for here. We've gotten pretty lucky too that we got 2 Mega Kick hits. Blizzard then one-shots Dragonair, which is exceptionally good. But now another big moment. Aerodactyl will outspeed and has a very high chance to knock me out. And it doesn't. It went for takedown. I was certain that would knock me out. That defense I was saying was useless. Useful. Useful. Do we outspeed Dragonite? We do. Let's go. Woohoo. I can't believe we've made it to the champion at level 75. That wasn't even that lucky. I mean, the Hydro Pump didn't miss. It would be nice not to have to rely on Mega Kick, but if we win here, I don't need to rely on it anymore. We're done. With that said, however, the champion's going to be quite tough. We don't have a reliable way to boost our speed, and Alakazam comes out second. This could end up being a very, very disappointing battle. I really want a first try victory this. Let's see if I can. Alrighty. He leads with Pidgeot. We go for Blizzard. Doesn't one-shot. Mirror move? Blizzard. Are you joking me? I go for Mega Kick out of frustration. We knock it out. Now Alakazam goes for Psychic. Critical hit. Critical hit. After all that, Mirror move Blizzard. Critical hit. That's critical it. That was terrible. Almost as terrible as this loss. I need to think about this run. Was this consistent? Is this something we can hope will happen again and again? Or do I need to level up just a little bit more? And maybe then I can rely on double edge. There's recoil damage attached, but it's 100 accuracy. Also, can we level up to a point where we can use Earthquake on Cloyster as opposed to having to rely on Fissure? I decided it was time to find out. At level 75, Earthquake is nearly a one-shot on Dugong. And better yet, it went for a Super Potion. Remember, Lorelei likes to heal in healing range. Then Cloyster missed with Clamp. So that was pretty lucky, but we're at full HP for Slowbro. We're going to win this battle no matter what. Unless Lapras were to get a critical hit on us, with 3 Amnesias, there's nothing it's going to be able to do to me. I hope. Might freeze me. Nah, we should be good. Are you joking? I called it, but are you kidding me? Oh my god. After another couple of losses, I get another win. This time Dugong does go for Aurora Beam. That means I do have to go for Fissure here. The way I thought it was an either or. If we get the heal, no Fissure. If we don't, I want Fissure because I want the HP. And again, because Cloyster is a second Pokemon, there really isn't much of a risk to just resetting to get that. And when we do, I don't have to worry about Lapras healing because unless it got a critical hit, it wouldn't knock me out. So we can beat Lorelei the most consistent way. Ironically, Fissure, I think, is the most consistent way. What a weird statement. Let's just go and speed up through the Bruno battle. We're going to go 3 for 3 versus him. That's great. And that's going to lead us to Agatha again. Now, Agatha is going to be just as tough as she was many levels ago because she can put us to sleep, use Nightshade, put it to sleep again, use Nightshade, then Dream Eater, then Confuse Ray, then Nightshade, then we lose! Hooray! 2 more losses to Lorelei later, I'm back at Agatha. I get confused, but I knock out Gengar. That's good. I then hit myself a Confusion, but no Haze. That's good. Blizzard's gonna knock it out. Now we're pretty much set. The worst thing that could happen is Confuse Ray from the final Gengar, and we get Toxic. That's fine. Okay, so for the second time, we've made it to the trainer that I speculated would be the roadblock, and yet getting to him has been a monumental task. But we are back at Lance and his Gyarados. Last time, 2 Mega Kicks were enough to knock it out, but I'd prefer to go for Double Edge here because it's far more accurate and consistent. That said, the recoil damage is kind of scary, but I do need to try it once, and this is the attempt where I'm going to try it. Alrighty, first things first, how much damage do we do? Good, that's about half. Now, it hits. Alright, we're at 14 HP, so we lose unless Aerodactyl goes for Supersonic and misses. So let's knock out the 2 Dragonair. Are you... Let's go! Wait, please don't miss! Let's go! Let's go! Blizzard, don't forget, is 90% in Gen 1 only. So that's a big reason we use it over Ice Beam. Okay. This is our second attempt at the champion. I don't think getting back here will actually be all that irritating at this point. So losing wouldn't be super devastating, but it would be nice to win. I feel like we guessed and checked our way to the right level. This is it. Can we close this out? Let's see. So, first things first, please one-shot this time. Great. No Mirror Move Blizzard. And then Alakazam goes for Recover, and at this point, I realize I've just won. I could have gone for Blizzard here, but I went for Earthquake, and that was probably kind of dumb because I went for Tail Whip, but whatever. Arcanine, we actually outspeed, if you can believe it, and knock it out. And then Executor, I thought of mimicking Hypnosis. I went for Blizzard. It went for Stomp. And then you can see I look for Hypnosis. Blizzard misses. And thankfully, Hypnosis misses. That was scary. Now against Blastoise, it all comes down to this. How much does Hydro Pump do? Nothing, it missed. Hooray! We win! At level 80. Not a lot of these first form Pokemon have to level up that much. And Cubone's a bit of a weird case, where its level is very, very high, but the time it took isn't so high, and this is all about Brock. It didn't take that much time, or almost any time, to get past Brock, but a huge amount of time to get past the Elite Four. This made placing it a little difficult because it didn't fit into any tier super well. its level and time are just such a mismatch. Based on its time, you could arguably put it within the C tier. I mean, 651 is better than Magnemite, Rattata, or Dratini, but those Pokemon struggled mightily versus Brock and had a really good time versus the Elite Four. They're also substantially lower leveled, with the exception being Slowpoke, which was substantially faster by an hour. Looking to the next tier, the levels and times are closer, however, they're very much affected by Brock. So, Cubone to me fits in the next tier. It's going to have the lowest time, but the highest level, and thus, right now will rank outside the top 20. Not a terrible Pokemon, but held back by its lack of speed and inability to deal with water Pokemon. With that said, thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed another solo run. And if you guys give this video a lot of support, I may even throw a third one up this month because I'm just a nice guy. Anyway guys, thank you so much. Take care.